Sarah Walsh, Head of Women's Football, Women's World Cup Legacy and Inclusion, Football Australia, joins us with this message.
Hi, my name is Sarah Walsh. I am a former Matilda, which is a national team, our national team here in Australia. I am also the Head of Women's Football, World Cup Legacy and Inclusion here at Football Australia. Football has been a major part of my life since 5 years of age. I absolutely loved the game when I first picked up a ball. Played for the national team, played overseas for many years, and then transitioned into administration. Every day I get to wake up and think about legacy, and legacy is really our bold plan to leverage the Women's World Cup that we are hosting in 2023 with New Zealand. So for me, driving change, particularly around gender equity and inclusion, is something that I'm thinking about every day. Football Australia is called out in the values of the business is to be diverse and inclusive, and the way that we break that down is through key areas. Obviously, women and girls, although not considered inclusion, is something that we drive across the game at a national level, working with our stakeholders. We do a lot of work in the First Nations space, the LGBTQ+ space, cold communities, but also all abilities. Today we actually announced that we are launching a Para-Matildas team. So really fantastic initiatives that we deliver at a national level, but really thinking about how we reshape the system, but also increase the talent pool and also participation numbers playing within the game. Some of the current challenges for women in leadership in sport is really, more often than not, sport has been a male-dominated industry. So really starting to think about, shifting the dial in the critical mass of women through two different ways. One, reshaping the system through governance, and policy reform, but also second to that is delivering specific programs designed to actually increase the number of women. When we think about women from all different backgrounds, and intersectionality is really key for that. But for us, it's about bringing these two levers together and working with our stakeholders to make sure that we leverage the Women's World Cup event to be able to drive change. Good governance is absolutely critical for a sport. More often than not, sports are operating within a federated model. So more often than not, the national sporting organisation is 3 or 4 layers removed from the actual participants. So, creating a very efficient governance system to be able to, oversee operations and make really strategic decisions on behalf of the game is crucial. And so for that, with that in mind, the inclusion of women within our governance structure is absolutely crucial to make sure that we drive better outcomes for women and girls. And as a clear example of policy change and system change, Football Australia currently has constituted 40-40-20 as a principle, which, as a direct result of that, we actually have more women than we do men than we do on the board. And for us, that's key, because we're starting to reshape and change, conversations and actually having women from all backgrounds in the room when decisions are made. Will obviously drive better outcomes for women and girls. It's about replicating that throughout the system in football, but it's a really good indicator as to why governance is crucial, because that system change work, which will live beyond all of our time here, is really crucial. I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank SEGA and MasterCard. I joined this conference last year, a couple of years ago as well. It's always a really energising conference to be a part of. I wish all the participants well, and I absolutely love the work of SEGA. I think these change-making conversations are crucial, not just during International Women's Day or Week, as we call it, but really starting to challenge our own thinking and bias, and which is obviously the theme of International Women's Day, breaking the bias here. So I'm excited to be a part of it. Thank you again for the invite, and hope everything goes well.